Thought of 2 funny jokes from my stand-up routine.
Okay.
Hey guys, what's up?
Check.
Check 1, 2. What's up? Pre-show. Hey, Nacky Marie.
Good morning, Nacky Marie.
Make it rain.
Clear it out. You're saying, make it rain. I clear it out. Oh, wait, I let it rain.
Oh,
I
let it
clear it
rain.
out.
Okay.
I let it rain. That's chicken noodle soup.
Oh.
Chicken noodle soup.
Oh,
Chicken
gosh.
noodle soup.
Here we
I
go.
love that song. With the soda on.
What's up, Tierney? Glad you just joined us while Melanie was
BTS.
dancing to chicken noodle
Jamming
soup.
out. Okay,
All right.
you ready? I'm ready.
Let's do this thing.
Hello and welcome to Anatomy of Marriage Radio. I'm your host, Melanie Studley.
What's up, my fine feathered friends? My name is Seth Studley. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist. Welcome to AOM Radio. How's it going?
Every single day we do a handful of things on our show, and I'll tell you about those handfuls of things in just a moment. But before I do that, I'm going to tell you that our show is brought to you by the Anatomy of Marriage app, the couples counseling app that's fast, fun, and never boring. You've got the conversation starters. You've got the clearing structure. You've got sexy bedroom games.
That's right.
You've got it all in the Anatomy of Marriage app. Go check it out at anatomyofmarriage.com.
All right. And every morning on AOM Radio, we do 4 things. We do a prayer, we do a gratitude, we do an intention, and then we do 1 or 2 conversation starters from the Anatomy of Marriage app. So I'm going to pray. Thank you, God, Creator, for your blessings. Thank you for this day. Thank you for the sun. Thank you for another opportunity to grow and have a growth mindset and do good things. I ask that this is helpful to all those that listen, and I pray this is helpful for us too. Thank you. Amen.
Amen. And I thank you, Lord, for friends that actually send you crystals on your birthday. Sammy, Delano, you're the best.
That's right.
I have a real crystal that a real friend of mine, real listeners, sent to moi.
And you're really wearing
and
it.
I'm really loving it. I'm loving it. So thank you.
You're loving it.
Okay.
That's right. And so,
Prayer,
yeah, we pray. You know, if you don't pray, whatever, that's fine. But taking a minute to connect with your partner or connect with yourself to a higher power is very important, and that's what we do. So I am thankful for the espresso maker that you bought 18 years ago, maybe.
Me too.
This sounds kind of insignificant, but it's a Starbucks thing. We don't have to get on the whole thing, but it is a bulletproof bulldozer of a machine. It has been making probably 5 coffees a day. It's a home one, right? For 18 years. And it is running strong. And I look forward. Sometimes at night, I wish I was already awake in the morning so I could drink coffee.
Right. Our coffee machine is really, really good.
It's
a Starbucks espresso machine.
Right. It makes the best. So thank you for buying that and painting it. It was red. You painted it green.
Celery green.
You painted it green. Who does that? That's so goofy.
I do it.
But you take care of it, and I'm thankful for that. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. I'm thankful that so right now we're doing our gratitude. Seth accidentally skipped over intentions. That's okay. But my gratitude for you is that you have fun with the kids, I don't know, you were like talking with Hattie last night on her bed, and it was just really sweet. I don't know what was going on, but it was just cute, and I love how much she loves you. So thank you for being such a lovable person and a loving dad. Like, that is awesome sauce.
Give love to get love.
That just sounds greedy. But anyway, intentions. Do your intentions as well.
Talking about the exchange. It's like what you put out is what you receive, good or bad.
So my intentions are to be more present with you today, to talk to you more, to connect, and to touch you more. That's goes back to that too.
Go ahead. Boom, baby.
Okay.
My intention is also to GSD. Get stuff done.
Get stuff done.
But the S doesn't stand for stuff.
Sure.
And also to be present with you. Hey, when I'm home, be present, be absolutely awesome.
Keep talking. I gotta get a drink.
I'm not sure where you're going. It's going to be time to read the question now. So my co-host has left. I'm not sure why, but I will try to answer a question, but I don't have a fingerprint or face ID on her thing. So
sorry, my blood sugar is
left me hanging.
Blood sugar.
There's a couple of new folks on the show today. Kelly Busama, what's up?
Good morning.
Let's see, Bitchy Lou.
She's been on there before.
Okay, what's up?
Okay. Will you open that?
No, I'm gonna read the question.
So, okay, we have a question today about a wife wanting sex more than the husband wants it. And we really appreciate all these questions. I always alter your questions because I don't want your spouse to get upset when they hear that you have sent in a question, if they figure out that it's you. So if the numbers are off by a little bit, that's why. So, and if you have a question, send it in to hello@anatomymarriage.com or DM us, whatever. So it says, hey there, my issue is probably pretty uncommon, so here it goes. Right off the bat, your issue is not uncommon. It's just not talked about very much. I am 28 and my husband is 25. We've been married for 4 years now. My husband is the best man I know. He has an amazing character and integrity. I honestly can't say enough good things about him. He has also refrained from having sex until we were married. I had a long-term partner before my husband and was sexually active. This bothered me at first because my husband really is my soulmate and I wish I would have waited for him. We get along great. We communicate perfectly, except in one area, sex. When we do have sex, it is wonderful. We have sex probably 2 times a month on average. I would like to have sex once a week. Here is where waiting to have sex until you're married is so important. I want to have sex more than he does, and I find myself comparing my past relationship with my marriage, and I hate it. All I see is my husband. I only want my husband, but he seems to not need sex as often as I do. I'm used to being the one to say no when asked for sex every single day, and now the tables have turned. I honestly would prefer having this problem than the opposite, but how can I communicate to him that I need more without feeling exposed and vulnerable? Spoiler alert, you can't. Somehow communicating with him how much I want to have sex is a vulnerable thing for me when I am able to be vulnerable in every other area with him. I have told him how I feel, and he receives it kindly, but nothing changes. I wonder if his transition from refusing sex to sexual freedom has a long adjustment period. If I waited for him, would I even know the difference? Am I making this a bigger deal than it is? Help.
Okay, so here's a couple things. And I immediately thought of, I like how you normalized it. Like sometimes women are the higher desire partner, and that's just a thing. So that's normal. Go read Come As You Are by Emily Nagoski.
Right.
And that'll be really helpful. And the first thing I thought about was what Dr. Corey Allen says is how you do
the way you do sex is the way you do life.
Right. So, and this is kind of looking at it from the reverse spot. So I just want to possibly point out something here. Maybe you think that you communicate better than you do. Maybe you think your relationship is better than it is almost, and just follow me here. I want you to be willing and brave enough to to even consider that as a possibility, right? I'm vulnerable in all the other areas, but not sex. Usually it's the other way around sometimes, if that makes sense. Like I'm not vulnerable and that reflects in our sex life, right? So I want you to have some real consistent conversations using the clearing structure around this. And also I want him to explore, he waited for stuff. So maybe he's like secretly thinking or resenting you for not waiting kind of thing. Maybe there's some sexual shame around that because, both people being under 30, typically, just like in the biological norm, there should be a fairly healthy sex drive and desire levels. You know what I'm saying?
Right. So you're saying, what are you saying? Look into that?
Look into all of that and just be open to exploring maybe our relationship isn't exactly what I thought, because that everything is a reflection of everything. How you do anything is how you do everything, right? So you're thinking
crystal clear. Yes, I agree. I hear what you were saying. Holy cows, that was not what I expected to see. Hey, Bitchy Lou. So one of the things that comes to mind when I read this question is there's a couple things. Like Seth is saying, you're saying, yeah, we get along fine with absolutely everything. That really might actually be a reflection of nothing that we've ever faced is challenging. That might be what's actually going on. That we've never had to talk about something hard. That, it's easy to get along when there's nothing hard to get along about, or that you've never actually been vulnerable. That's probably more of what is happening. That and I want to talk about the definition of the definition of vulnerable. I love this definition. I think it's amazing. So it is an adjective, and it means in danger, in peril, in jeopardy, at risk, unsafe, unprotected. Like vulnerable things are like when an animal tries to go drink from a watering hole. and the lion is sitting in the jungle, right? Is going to get him some breakfast. So I want you to change the way that you look at vulnerability in your marriage, because I'm pretty sure you're not really going to be subject to attack.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way we think of things being vulnerable, and we get afraid and we're like, I don't know what to do. If you married someone who's decent, they're not going to attack you, right? If you think they're going to attack you, one, get therapy,
Mm-hmm.
but two, use the clearing structure. The clearing structure in the Anatomy of Marriage app is a totally useful tool for this type of thing. I want to be having, so you would go to anatomyofmarriage.com, you would get the app or at the app store, whatever,
Mm-hmm.
and then you would fill it out. When we only have sex twice a month, I feel sexually frustrated. I feel alone. I feel like you don't think I'm pretty, whatever that is. And then you go through it all. So,
or maybe he even has some sort of preconceived notion like, okay, I waited until marriage. You're just a floozy that wants sex all the time, and then he's judging you, kind of thing. So maybe he has his own kind of misguided misperception around that.
Read
And
that
this
one.
is,
That's
yeah,
really
this is a really good one. So somebody says, coming from someone who abstained, there is a mental block that happens when you get married. You have told yourself no for so long, it's hard to reframe your mind around being allowed to.
That's great.
That's right. So another quote, Dr. Corey Allen says, one of the messages that we get from the church, and well, mainly the church and their messed up view on this, is save yourself for marriage, save yourself for marriage.
Sex is gross, it's disgusting.
Yeah,
save it for the one you love.
Yeah, right. So don't do it. You can't. It's gross. It's like, it's vile. Oh, when you get married, this vile thing, these gross extremities that we put together,
bumping uglies.
Gross. Oh, now it's perfect. Now it's
right.
blessed.
Now it's really great.
Right. So that's so messed up. It's man. Here's what it is. It's like gaslighting.
Right.
You don't like this. You don't like this.
Oh,
but when we're together now,
right.
it's supposed to be magical and beautiful and all this stuff, right? So, man, that's a really good analogy that I just came up with. Well, I didn't create gaslighting, obviously, but okay. Bill says, Bill always has something good to say. I agree. Communication will be key. Some men are used to being in the pursuer role, and when they become the distancer, they find it hard to understand why they lose their desire. I also wonder if the Madonna horror complex could be at play here. That's just kind of funny. I've heard of that before, but it's like the sexually confident woman kind of thing. Like, yeah, I know what I want. Like, your book that you're gonna write, like I Kiss Bad Sex Goodbye.
Oh,
right?
That's funny. Yeah.
People are going to see that and go, what does she mean? Oh,
Bill, write more about the Madonna horror complex. I've heard of it, but I don't know enough about it, and I could make some conclusions, but I don't want to do that.
Bitchy Lou says, at moments with the Mobleys, that's a great point, especially being raised in church. Nobody talks about it. What happens when you get married and are allowed?
Right.
That's right. And that's just, man, I have so many thoughts on that, and we won't go down that kind of.
No, we should talk about that. But here's the thing I do want to address in the actual question itself. There's a handful of things that I think are super important that this person actually said. They do write in the question, I wonder if his transition from refusing sex to sexual freedom, which I just want to say, I am not sure that his low sex drive or lower desire state is the equivalent of refusing sex. So I want to be very clear. You use that language in your question. I don't know if he's actively refusing sex or he doesn't want it. Those are not the same things. And
that would be it can be fairly normal also. So refusing is it. I mean, so refusing is like, no, I'm not going to.
Turning away.
But low desire is like, I don't know. I'm not in the mood, kind of thing. And sometimes, believe it or not, men get like that. Right.
Yeah.
So sometimes I would rather go to sleep.
Most times I would really. But I do want to say also that in this statement, there's a sort of a bigger picture I want to talk about for lots of people in any relationship, that sexuality is like an energy, right? If you think of it just like an energy, like going to a football game, doing something that gets you all jazzed, going jogging, it's an energy. So, and now think about the time when like your spouse comes home from a concert and they're like, woo, the best AC/DC concert ever.
No.
I don't even know.
Amon
Amon Amarth. And you're like, oh my gosh, I've just been like doing laundry. Why are you so weird? Like the energy levels are really opposite, right? Same thing with
you're so judgy. Why are you so weird? I'm coming home from something exciting.
Let me keep on. So the same thing with like
Calling you out.
a mom or a stay-at-home parent who's been at home all day, kids talking to them. They're like, oh my gosh, I don't want to hear another thing about anything.
Mm-hmm.
I just want like to sit and watch TV and drink wine or something. And then their partner comes home, they're like, I've done the best business deal ever. I'm amazing. And you're like, this is the worst. So you've experienced these misaligned energies before, right? Sexuality, sexual energy is no different, right? So the reason I'm bringing all of this up is this wife is like, I'm feeling frisky, and the husband's like, I'm just reading an article. Mm-hmm. That does not mean that your energies cannot eventually align. Bullying will not get you there. Asking your husband why he doesn't want to have sex will definitely not get you there.
Well, you can ask a question in
a
good way.
I'm going to really push firmly back on that because I don't think that you could ask, why don't you want to have sex? What I would rather have you do is get the Anatomy of Marriage app and do the intimacy conversation starters. Mm-hmm. If you talk in a way that is fun and genuine long enough about bumping uglies.
Why are they ugly?
Oh gosh. If you do that long enough, your partner may get in the mood. Your energies might actually align. The other options are too that you could get the Just Between Us app. Mm-hmm. Our app co-creator developed that app. It's a photo sharing app. So like literally take a picture of your boobs and text it to your husband. It is double encrypted so the programmers can't see your boobs. Text that to your husband.
Oh my gosh, you've been talking about boobs so much lately.
What? I've got some.
Oh, okay. That's enough. Jesse says they're very different. A lot of the times, first brings tension from both sides. Right. So, okay, back to what Bill was saying.
What?
Oh, geez, that's a long.
Thank you, Bill.
I think that I was way off on the Madonna complex. So I stand corrected. A man with a Madonna whore complex is a man who will sleep with and lust for a sexual and beautiful woman, but he will never respect her as wife material, and that he will never marry her. In his eyes, she's tainted, impure, unworthy of the status of a wife. Yet he may possess passionate and contradictory feelings for her. He may even be in love with her, but will never allow himself to be with her in any real sense. He will look for a good girl to marry, usually a woman who is cold sexually, but, for example, is good at wifely domestic things, cooking, cleaning, homemaking in general, etc. A proper, pure Madonna type woman who will bear his children. Urban Dictionary.
Right. All and we're talking about Madonna as in like the Virgin Mary, not Madonna the singer.
Right.
Right.
N.W. Kelly says, we have a similar issue. We had a great sex life, and now we hardly have sex at all. We also have 2 kids, and I'm stuck putting the kids to bed every night, but still want sex intimacy more than him.
Right.
Interesting. Okay. So you need to do something that changes it up, right? One of my favorite things and to tell clients, which they probably hate me for, I look at them straight in the eye and say, nothing changes if nothing changes.
Right.
And I say that 800 times. We're talking about the same thing. Nothing changes.
Nothing changes. You're cute. That was fun.
And then another 800 time, right? Mm-hmm. So the point of that is we can get stuck in this rut of listening to all the podcasts, going to all the seminars, doing all the things as Miss Kev on stage, all the things would say. But we can do those things all day. Nothing changes if nothing changes, right? So you have to say, okay, let's have a conversation about this. And I disagree with you. You can absolutely have a conversation about sex like this. Like, so I could say, hey, there's this question that I've been wondering, like, I'm going to use the clearing structure, all this stuff. And it's not just like, what do you want to have sex with? Right? It's, hey, I've been pursuing you in this way. Is there anything I'm doing wrong, or is there something that I can do different? Because it seems like you don't want to have sex.
Okay, let me tell you what. You in the audience there listening.
Can't ask a question?
Listen to me. What would invite you into sexual pleasure? Let me give you 2 options, and you tell me A or B. A, here's option A. So I've noticed lately.
I'm
that
not
you
saying
struggle-
like you say that like on pillow talk or anything
that you
like
struggle with intimacy. I would like to have
Oh my gosh.
more intimacy. Is there anything I may do?
that.
Or B, I text you a picture of my boobs.
What are you, Dwight Schrute?
So A or B, like A or B, which one? You want to do some like naughty conversation starters and get in the mood, or would you like a professor to talk to you weirdly and then somehow, oh, I like sex now, yes, please. That's not going to happen. So I don't want this lady to ask her husband that question. I don't think it will be helpful.
Okay.
And also too, like with the comment with we've got little, or you have kids and you got to put them to bed. How old are your kids? I would love to know, because there are, again, nothing changes if nothing changes. If you do the same thing that you did last night to get your kids in bed and you still didn't have sex that night or whatever, don't do the same thing again. Come up with a different plan, come up with a different strategy. Read anything from Jocko Willink about discipline equals freedom, those kinds of things. Or is that Jocko Willink?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And set up a new structure so that you can get to mission success.
7 and 3. So young, so I'm assuming
7
they
and
go
3,
to bed
yeah.
early, but what she is saying is she puts the kids to bed and then husband is just kind of not interested. You know, I talked to him about it. Like, hey, are you preoccupied?
Or do conversation starters, sexy conversation starters. I guarantee you, no person is going to want to talk about that stuff and then get in the mood to do that stuff.
Okay, all right.
So I just really like
so
you
you're
don't.
saying,
It's like
this.
this.
No, hold on. This is what you're saying. So if the wife is a higher desired partner, let the wife do sexy stuff.
I have the best analogy ever. There is a reason that restaurant menus have photos and not just descriptions. The restaurant menu does not say, "Ooh, are you hungry? Would you like to have food?"
That's only at teriyaki and
into-"
sushi restaurants.
No, it's not. That's why Bakery Nouveau has Instagram. So you look at those luscious mousses and you say to yourself, I
Nice.
want a raspberry mousse right now with gold foil.
2
whatever.
raspberry mice.
Right. So there's a reason. One is
Okay.
inviting and
All right.
one is like so boring you don't even care.
Somebody says you guys are talking about 2 different things: helping someone get in the mood in that moment versus trying to change feelings
Right.
around sex.
That's very true.
Exactly. So yeah, you're
But
saying
this lady's trying to get more.
okay.
And I'm trying to help this lady
Okay.
get more.
Yeah. So you're talking about it from the wife perspective. Yeah.
Right.
Very good observation.
Very good.
Austin Motley.
So
Thank you.
So now, okay, so that was me trying to get the wife to get more. So don't have a weird conversation that sounds like your physician's talking to you. Just do the sex and intimacy starters in the or conversation starters in the Anatomy of Marriage app, or get Just Between Us. Send some pics to your lover.
So hold on, some dudes may be listening to this and going, "Oh my gosh, I wish my wife was that way," and like getting all judgy and stuff like that.
Don't do that.
Don't do that. That is not helpful. That will only build resentment. Will only. How about this? If you have a conversation like that with your wife, "Hey, listen to today's episode. Oh, she wants it more than him." Do you no, you're not a jerk. Do you actually think that will benefit you? Will that get you more? No, it won't. Hello.
It will get you less.
It will not. So I want everybody listening every dude listening to have a super wise mind about that and have these conversations, right? If you, if that's, just use the clearing structure on that, please. Thank you very much.
Right. And invite intimacy. Don't request it in that way.
Right.
Let's see. I am curious. What do you think women find? Wait. I am curious. Do you think women find sexual rejection more hurtful than men? Most of the time, men are the pursuer and are used to getting rejected. But I notice when I am not in the mood, my wife seems to be more hurt than I am allowed to be. I think part of it is just cultural. Honestly, men have more experience getting rejected. So I think there's like an element of you ask for it more, you're used to how to handle it.
So you're saying just by number of ratio, it's like we get rejected more because we ask for it more?
Yeah, I mean, that's
so it's a numbers game?
Part of it.
How about this? Okay, so regardless of the numbers, if you and I were equal, we're 1,000 times pursuer, 1,000 times rejector, right? Or whatever. So you haven't been in the mood more often than I haven't, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think I honestly, it's probably like 2 times when you wanted, maybe 3 times when you wanted to do stuff. And I was like, no, but I felt so bad about saying no because I don't want to have like, because of number 9 Enneagram stuff, like conflict avoidance, stuff like that. I was like, this is going to cause a fight if I say no, which is a whole nother thing that I can explore and blah, blah, blah. But did that hurt your feelings? Were you just like, oh, okay.
It didn't hurt my feelings, but also because I'm always very much on the fence about sex. I'm like, I could have sex or I could sleep. They're both good options. So when you say no, I'm like, oh, I could sleep.
Right.
It's
okay.
not.
So, but for guys, I think that, I'm not going to generalize, but that's a great question, Bill. I do take it like, well, because men connect, and the research bears this out, men connect through sex, right? You know, it's like, oh, I'm making a bid for connection. If we want to talk about real connection in John and Julie Gottman's work, a bid for connection is like, hey, sex is just, it's just not like, you know, and go, I just want to have an orgasm. It's not that. It's more than that. So it feels like getting rejected emotionally more in that way. You know what I'm saying? And maybe for you, you're like, oh, well, I connected all day with him. We talked and had great conversation. But sex, not sex. I don't care. Go to sleep.
Right. Well, I think I hear what you're saying, and I think that's a very good point. I think for women, though, also, because unless your wife is like, very like a high desire and does this all the time or something, there's usually an element of like tries to whatever I'm trying to say.
Sorry,
initiate sex. That's what I'm trying to say.
That reminds me of what one of our kids said a while back. This is maybe he was like 8 or 9 years old, and he saw somebody smoking, and he was like, "Dad, have you done the cigarettes before? Have you done the cigarettes?"
Anyhow, so what I'm trying to say about this idea is that if your wife is constantly getting turned down, like in this case, okay, let me say it again. You got me super distracted. Sorry. For most women, if they are not the higher desire and they are the lower desire spouse and they are approaching you, this is the case in our marriage. If I'm approaching you with intimacy, if I'm saying, okay, so here's what it's like. I've thought about this a lot. If I get to the point where I'm approaching you, because you would approach me every 9 minutes if you could, but I don't think about it. I don't care about it. I've got kids, dangling around my ankles. It's not in my brain space at all. So if I take the time to put that in my brain space and then actually approach you, it is almost like it's embarrassing to be turned down is what I'm trying to get at for Bill's question.
Oh, okay.
It's not that it's like, oh, I want sex so bad, you're turning me down. Oh, it's like, I'm embarrassed now. I feel like an idiot. Like I put all this mental energy. Like, what if I even shaved my legs? Right? What if I even put on lingerie and you just don't even know or whatever? Like, what if I did all this preparing and all this like mind stuff because that's what I have to do to get into the mood, and then you're just like, I don't care.
It's kind of like you're going to be a presenter at a conference and nobody shows up.
Right, and you're so like, I'm not saying
maybe my material wasn't as good as I thought. This is kind of Yeah.
I'm not saying it's fair. I'm not saying it's whatever. But if that's the case, that's something to consider. But I would also say to the wife in this situation, it's not fair to be more hurt than you allow your partner to be hurt when you decline
explain that. What do you mean?
Let's see. It says that's how we nines feel too. We just don't show it. Start showing it, Bill.
What's up, Mallory? Good morning.
Now I'm mad at you because you're a 9. I feel like there was something else I was going to say, but now I can't remember what it was. But I do think there are really easy steps that you can take to get more intimacy if that's what you're looking for. 1, do not say, see, this person wants sex all the time. Why can't you be like that? Never, ever do a why can't you sentence. Like that is the worst thing you could possibly do.
That's comparison. Comparison is thief of joy.
Right. It is never going to, and then your partner will never forget the why can't you just sentence, right? But you can do things like get apps that encourage that kind of stuff. Also, if you only make sex your focus and you're not actually focusing on the health and well-being of the entire relationship, that will also burn you. Like if you say, oh yeah, I want better sex and intimacy, but we never talk. I don't care what hobbies they have. Like you're not going to get better sex and intimacy. It's biopsychosocial, spiritual. It's the whole deal.
It is. So I'm just kind of just hearing you talk and talking about biopsychosocial, spiritual. I just felt really grateful that you guys are listening and that we can do this together.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
Because it is normalizing conversations. It's real help for real couples. And, the thing that I thought of yesterday, which I don't think you liked, but it's like this is a marriage and coaching podcast for people that actually want to change. right? I don't want.
Seth wants that to be our new slogan instead of real help for real couples. The real actual podcast that changes lives for people who really want to change.
No, it's just an idea. Like I've done therapy for a long time, and I've had clients over and over and over who just come back literally month after month, week after week, year after year, and almost nothing is different. And it's really frustrating, So I don't. Okay, do you want to, how about this? I've spoken at conferences and stuff to different crowds, and you can always tell, the people that don't give an F about what you're saying, right? And that is so demoralizing. And so just like, this is a waste of time. But then there's crowds, like I've spoken to, really, hundreds of people, right? And, or an audience of 30, but every single one of those were like, yes,
full on
and engaging and like, yes, what all this stuff. It is a billion times better, right? So when I think of like what we do and coaching and the clients that we get for coaching, those are people who really want to change. And you know how life-giving it is to have a conversation and like bounce ideas off of people and encourage and do that stuff. If you have any questions, by the way, go to coaching at anatomy or email coaching@anatomymarriage.com. It's like, I want people who want to be there.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I attract people who want to be there because I had some clients yesterday, not coaching clients, but other clients. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is literally the same thing over and over and over. And it's at some point, it's like, you've led that horse to the same water. It's clean, different water, right? It's not just crappy, moldy water. It's brand new, clean water. The same opportunity over and over and over. And then as a leader, the person with the bridle and the lead rope, you're like,
what am I doing?
They're not going to drink,
right?
And it's not a judgment. It's not a anything. It's like, this is real, right? So I don't know. I just came to a point yesterday. It was like, this is real help for real couples, right?
Yeah.
But it's also marriage coaching for people that want to change. So thank you for allowing me to do that. So my husband, thinks sex is needed, but never tries to date me and thinks I'm dumb because all I want for him is to check in, text me at least once a day. This idea and his idea of intimacy is, can we do it? Right. Okay. So husband, that's lame. And wife, don't judge your husband because of what I just said, right? Sometimes men don't know this, right? But if we're not willing to change and you've told him over and over, then step it up, bro. Husband.
Does your husband watch this show? And if he does, if he says that you are dumb, that's a different conversation.
Yeah, that's not,
you made me mad just now. If feeling that he thinks you're dumb is different than if he's actually calling you dumb. And if your husband watches the show or you send this show to him, you are not welcome to call your wife dumb.
That's exactamundo. So, but a lot of guys also have to unlearn and relearn what emotional connection really is.
Absolutely.
Right? And that might be a thing. So I want to be objective and give him some benefit of the doubt, not if he's doing stupid stuff and calling you dumb and whatever, but maybe he has no idea about that. So he has to go out and get some education around that. Bill says it's never easy for folks to get out of their narrative. Habits for some are very hard to break. Yes, they are. And I'm reading right now The Compound Effect by Darren Hardy. And he talks about what we have talked about before, about those neural pathways, right? And they can be broken. They absolutely can be broken. And you just have to be willing and aware and put in the hard work.
Well, and he says, no, he has a flip phone, which is funny.
So does your dad.
I know.
I wish I had a flip phone sometimes. It would be great for distractions and ADD.
They have phones that are for people with ADD. You know that, right? I don't know if you know that. So anyway, I think what I want to use this analogy, we may have said it before, but like when we talk about neural pathways and like what wires together in your brain. So let's say every single day I go work out at the gym and then I drive past the donut shop and I get a donut, right? Some people do this. And your brain will eventually be like, yeah, that's the route that you take home because a donut equals working out equals a donut. I like this. And it makes like a superhighway. It like clears Imagine that you're out in the forest. You've done that so many times that you've made a big, wide path that now working out equals donut equals this, right? That's what your brain is going to do. We all have those for every different area of our life. How we do the dishes, how we eat, what we say, how we treat our children, how we treat our spouse, how we have sex, how we don't have sex. We have super highways that we have like dug out and worn down over years of doing them, right? So when you want to make a new pattern, a new habit, it's like standing in the woods that is like, Salal, kudzu.
Nobody knows what
covered. It is. What the crap?
Salal and kudzu are very, very specific to kind of small regions
ivy,
of the
weeds.
world.
I don't know. Like think of the thickest forest that you can think of.
Right.
That you're like, this is awful. How am I going to get through this? There's brambles and sticks. No one has gone through this forest. It's not cleared out. And you have to you cannot walk through it. You certainly can't drive a car through it like you did your old habits. So now you've got a hatchet, a handsaw, and some work boots on.
You got to get a machete and start slinging.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So, okay, a hatchet, a machete, a work saw, or whatever you said.
Handsaw.
Those are tools, right? So this podcast, the Anatomy of Marriage app, counseling, all these things are tools, right?
Boom.
So you go out there, you get your tool.
Right.
You got to, first of all, think, oh, yeah, okay, this is a good idea, the pre-contemplation phase. Then you go into the contemplation phase. Hey, yeah, I'm going to do this. This is good. I've decided it's good. And then you go into the action phase. You get that.
Whoa.
You get that machete and you start slinging.
Right.
You cut a new path, and it's going to be hard. You're not going to go where to go. Somebody over here on the path that you've been on for 100 years is going to go, what are you doing? You're crazy. You're going to get lost, man. What are you doing?
Just use the path you always use.
No, that's resistance, right? And sometimes we even get that from our own spouse. And I'll go back to the example. I'm not calling you out, but it's a good lesson. When I started 75 hard, you were hemming and hawing saying you could devote these hours.
I wasn't hemming and hawing. I was mad.
Right.
I was full on mad.
Right. So that's the resistance. But we pushed through it. And then, oh, guess what? Hello. She started 75 hard. And oh, guess what? Hello. I'm on phase 3. And I'm unbelievably excited to total up all the hours and all the books I've read and all the stuff I've done, how many gallons of water I've drank since January 2nd, 2020. Despite all the S that happened in 2020, we are crushing it, right? And it's awesome. So get your machete, cut that new path. I'm preaching. Cut that new path and go for it. Because guess what? Once you do it, and once you do it over and over, then that becomes a new neural pathway that you want, that you were very intentional about. So go for it. All right, let's read a question.
No. I have some more thoughts. The other thing I want to say too about spouses who just simply the spouse who just thinks connection is like penile vaginal sex, like they just go, that's all I want. I don't care about anything else. I will tell you right now, biopsychosocial spiritual, you as a person are many, many, many parts. You're not just like a wiener. You're lots of other things. And can you imagine how amazing the experience would be if your wiener center was connected to like all of the rest of you, and sex was like this way bigger, crazier thing than you thought it could ever be? That can happen, but you can't. You will never get to that place if you literally, what's the word? You're like taking the amazingness that is sexual intimacy and making it like an Oreo. You're like, oh, what's the best thing I can eat? It definitely wouldn't be like El Bulli in Spain. I think I'll just settle for like 4 M&Ms. Like you're taking something that if you don't know, you don't know. If you've never been to a 3-5-star Michelin fine dining in Paris, you have no idea how amazing a croque monsieur is in Paris, right? Like if you've never, what's the best food you've ever eaten?
There's a lot. So
name one. In what place did you eat it? Maybe those little custards in Portugal.
That is exactly. Well, no, I was thinking of the creme brulee in.
Ireland.
In Dublin, right?
Okay, creme brulee in Ireland, served by the Italian waiter, right?
I don't know why, but yeah.
And it was so good, right? And then think about, like, have you had a sexual experience that's similar, that's full body like that? But would you have ever known that you could have that if you thought the best food in the world was like a Snickers? No. Right? So you guys don't know what you're missing. How about that?
That's right. Okay. So get that old app out and let's answer one question from, let's see. Intimacy just for fun. Let's get started. Which I don't know.
Let's get started.
What?
We're so bizarre.
Why am I so bizarre?
Because that's not a category.
I think it is.
It's not. It's a okay. Conversation starters.
Right.
Here we
Stay with
go. I think we've answered like all of
Okay.
them.
Tell me about a time when I helped you through something difficult.
You're asking me.
Yeah. Because I just asked you. I had asked you. So.
I think the times when I've had like really injuries, like or sicknesses and stuff like that, my appendix, the death of my grandmother, the death of Ellie, the death of Chelsea and Jessica, you've helped me through those things. That's what I can think of immediately. Are those kinds of difficult things? What about you?
Ow!
Sorry, you have
What's wrong with you?
You have an eyelash. I'm sorry.
You scratched my
I didn't
face.
mean to. What? How have I helped you through something difficult?
Well, you didn't help me by removing an eyelash right now.
Come on.
Thanks for that. I think that you have pushed me and helped me get over some self-limiting beliefs when I get in a real funk or like when I drank too much and I'm talking stupid stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I remember one time we were in an argument and you yelled, "Seth Studley, no!" or something because I was like just going down some kind of like super negative thing. You remember that a long time ago?
Golly, I hate it when you do that. But
What?
yes, I do. When you like get in that path and you're like, you're
yeah.
like a bulldozer.
I think that hashtag real talk. You hate it, yeah, but you helped me through it.
Yes.
And we're not going to talk about it right now, but that's a good thing. And we all get there, right?
Right.
You've said stupid stuff, and I'm
Oh
like,
gosh, yeah.
what? No.
I've said more stupid stuff than I haven't said.
Well, right. So
stuff.
that's fine. Bill says, "Damn, Mel punched Seth."
I was trying to gently sweep something
Scratch
from
my
his
eye.
eye. My nails just happen to be long.
Like a puma cat. Let's don't read another one.
No, that one's a good one.
No, we got to go. So, all right. We love you guys. Remember, if anything we've said, we're like, oh, that sounds good, or I need help with that, we partner with Faithful Counseling. So go to getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage if you need counseling. And from a licensed counselor, you need to go get the help. If you're thinking about it, oh, I can do it, I can white knuckle, I can get through it. No, please don't think like me sometimes, right? You need help. You need to reach out. So go to getfaithful.com/anatomy of marriage. And you guys, we also do coaching, and it is electric. It is electrified, right? It really is. For you guys that want to step up your game or thinking, you know what, I don't need counseling. I'm process some of that stuff. But I do feel just kind of stuck. I'm at a little impasse on these relationship goals, body goals, spiritual goals,
parenting,
anything.
Yeah.
You know, we need accountability. The times that other dudes that I've respected have kicked my butt have been the pivotal times in therapy. We call them nodal events. These events that were like, things are different after that. Right.
Yeah, like a before and after.
Right. And when we did coaching last year, it was a huge thing. Before and after. Okay, let's do this.
Right.
So email any questions at coaching@anatomyofmarriage.com. Email those today. Do it. You know you want to. Ask anything you want. I'll even jump on a call with you to answer those questions to get you that help because you know something's out there. Right.
And
you know something's more.
We do individual or couples coaching. So if you both want help, we will do it that way. If just one of you wants help, or if you're not even in a relationship and you need help, we do all of that. So don't let the relationship part of it mess you up.
That's right. See you tomorrow, Friday. Happy Friday. Let's go out there. Let's kick some butt. Let's be intentional. And we'll talk to you tomorrow.
Have an amazing day.
Bye.
Bye.